Good morning, all of you. I extend a warm welcome to all the participants on behalf of IT and CS Department of BNN College Bhiwandi. Today, that is on 29th of Jan, we have arranged a lecture on the topic Global Positioning System, that is GPS. As we all know that GPS is extremely important as it is used to locate and identify the object, right? So, giving you more details on the GPS and its important, I welcome our today's guest, Mrs. Aparna Nair Madam. She has completed her BTech in Computer Science and Engineering. Also, she has 2 years of experience in data administration. With 1 year, she was working in Polytechnic as a college teacher. So now, not taking much of your time, I request our today's guest to come forward and share her knowledge with our participants. Mrs. Aparna ma'am, please.
Hello, I'm audible.
Yes,
No, ma'am.
yes, ma'am.
Hello, good morning, everybody. This is Abana. Today, in this lecture, we will talk about the GPS. Let's see the contents. First, we should begin with introduction. In this introduction, GPS stands for Global Positioning System. The official name of the GPS is Navigation Satellite Timing and Ranging Global Positioning System, NAVSTAR GPS. The purpose of GPS is to show your exact positions on the earth at any time, in anywhere, and any weather. Okay. It's extremely important as it is used to locate, identify, and maintain accurate contact reports. In this system, helps an average person to locate herself exactly anywhere on the planet without having to be too much technically literate and foresight. Okay, right? Then the next we want to know these points. First one, who can use GPS? Why need GPS? How GPS works? And what is GPS and its purpose? And last, who developed GPS? Okay? Then we will start. What is global positioning system? You know, GPS is a system of 30 plus navigation satellites circling Earth.
Okay.
GPS uses satellites as reference point to calculate positions. Each satellite
मैम,
orbits the
एक्सक्यूज मी
Earth. Yes.
मैम, पीछे बैकग्राउंड में बहुत गाने का किसी का सॉन्ग बज रहा है किसी बैकग्राउंड में.
Okay.
Please stop playing songs. Hello.
Hello. I'm audible.
यस मैम.
Okay. We'll, we'll continue. Each satellite orbits the Earth every 24 hours, complete the rotation every day. Okay, this ensures that every point on the Earth will always be in radio contact with at least
Ma'am, your presentation is not visible.
1 minute.
मैम, पीपीटी इज नॉट वर्किंग हियर.
Sorry. Are you visible?
यस मैम.
Okay. Then this ensures that every point on the Earth will always be in radio contact with at least 4 satellites around stations are used to precisely track each satellite orbit. That means it's a navigation system that uses signals from satellites to determine the location of the receiver. Right? GPS satellites constantly send out a signal that contains their position and exact time. And a GPS receiver computes the signal from at least 4 satellites, then it determines the time. Okay, right? Then the next is who developed GPS. First developed by the US DoD, that means United States Department of Defense. GPS system was designed and controlled by US military. Okay. Then in many fields we can use GPS. These are the most important fields, that automobile, aircraft navigation, military departments, and marine and individuals. Okay. In automobile show moving maps, that then in military target directions. For aircraft navigation, aviation and marine provide precise navigation information to boaters. Okay. Then why do we need GPS? One drawback of using radio waves generated on the ground is that you have always two choices. First one is a system that is very accurate but does not cover a wide area. Then a system that covers a wide area but it is not very accurate. In this situation, the GPS is just one of several group of satellites used to determine position. Through these measurements, GPS technologies can identify where an individual is in the world and how to navigate to other locations. For example, you want to find out the location of your friend. Need to call and ask friend about his where. Nowadays, GPS system will help you to find out friend location as well as the distance from user's location. Okay, right? In this condition, so we need a powerful system such as GPS. Can provide accurate information and covers wide area. And the next topic is what do you mean by GPS? Okay, right? The Global Positioning System is a US-owned utility that provides users with positioning, navigation and timing services. In this system, GPS tells you where you are on Earth. It can answer 5 questions. Okay, first one is where am I? Second one, where am I going? Third one is where are you? And fourth one is what the best way to get there? Okay, at last, when will I get there? Okay, right? Then it's a space-based satellite navigation system that can show your exact position on or near the Earth's surface anywhere, anytime, in any weather condition, no matter where you are. Okay, right? Then this system consists of 3 main segments. One is space segment, and second is control segment, and third one is the user segment. Okay, then we will discuss the space segment. Here is figure. Space segment, control segment, and user segment. First one is space segment. In this segment are to transmit radio navigation signals and to store and retransmit the navigation message sent by the control segment. That means the space segment of the system consists of the GPS satellite. The space vehicle sends radio signals from space. The space segment consists of a group of minimum 24 satellites and signals that are broadcast by them, which allows users to determine position, velocity and time. The satellite orbit repeat almost see some ground track one each day. Okay? The orbit altitude such that the satellites repeat the same track and configuration of any point approximately each for 24 hours. So, this segment is designed to receive, store and retransmit the radio signals forwarded by the control segment. Okay, then next segment is the control segment. Control segment of the global positioning system is the network of ground stations that monitors the shape and velocity of the satellite orbit. That means, in this segment, track these satellites and then provide them with corrected orbital and time information. The position system is controlled by different track stations located around the Earth. These stations pick up microwave carrier signals transmitted by the satellite, and the GPS receivers convert these signals into data, that means velocity, time, position, right? Then the last segment is user segment, and it consists of GPS receivers locating cars, planes, or even in GPS collars for wildlife. In this segment, may consist of users and their GPS receivers. The GPS receivers receive the signals sent by GPS satellites and use them to determine the user's positioning in space and time. Okay, right? And in this segment, number of simultaneous users is limitless, right? And there are 5 main users of GPS. Location, determine the position, getting from one location to another location, that means navigation, then tracking, monitoring object or personal movement, mapping, creating maps of the world, and timing, making it possible to take precise time measurement. These are the main users of the GPS. Okay, see this figure. In this figure, the GPS is a system of 30 plus navigation satellites circling Earth. We know where they are because they constantly send out signals. The GPS receivers in your phone listen for these signals. Once the receiver calculates its distance from 4 or more satellites, it can configure out where you are, right? Then, how does a GPS work? Okay. GPS satellites circle the Earth showing a day in a precise orbit. Each satellite transmits a unique signal and orbital parameters that allow GPS devices to decode and compute the precise location of the satellites. Then the GPS receivers use this information and trilateral to calculate the user's exact location. That means it's a constellation of 27 satellites orbiting the Earth at about 12,000 miles. Right? These satellites are continuously transmitting the signal, and anyone with the GPS receiver on the Earth can receive these transmissions at no charge. By measuring the travel time of signals transmitted from each satellite, a GPS receiver can calculate its distance from the satellite. The satellite positions are used by receivers as exact position reference point to determine the location of the GPS receiver. Suppose if a receiver can receive a signal from at least 4 satellites, it can determine latitude, longitude, altitude and time. Then if it can receive signals from 3 satellites, it can determine latitude, longitude and time. The satellites are in orbit such that anytime, anywhere on the planet, one should be able to receive signals from at least 4 satellites, right? Understood? See this figure. A GPS receiver like one in your smartphone pinpoint its location on Earth's surface by analyzing its distance to 3 GPS satellites. A fourth satellite synchronized spoke in the receiver and satellite. Okay? In first figure, if you know your distance x from satellite 1, you could be anywhere on this circle. Right? In second, if you also know your distance y from satellite 2, then you can only be at one of two places where this circle intersects. The third point, if you also know your distance z from satellite 3, then there is only one place you can where the three circles intersect. A four satellite synchronizing time between satellites and receiver clock. Okay. In this system, trilateration. In trilateration method, data from a single satellite narrows position down to large area of Earth's surface. Then adding data from second satellite narrows position down to the region where two spheres develop. Then adding data from third satellite provide a relatively accurate position. Right? Then the GPS is a network of 20 satellites orbiting the Earth at the altitude of 12,000 miles. At least 4 GPS satellites can communicate with the GPS antenna in every location on Earth. Each satellite transmits its information about its position and the current time at regular intervals. These signals travel at the speed of light and can be intercepted by any GPS receiver. GPS receivers calculate how far away each satellite is. Based on the time it takes for a signal to reach them, in this position reported by the GPS antenna is not absolute because many factors affect the GPS signal. Okay. See this figure? In this figure, GPS satellites carry atomic clock that provides extremely accurate time. The time information is placed in the code broadcasted by the satellite so that the receiver can continuously determine the time the signal was broadcast. Thus, the receiver uses 4 satellites to compute latitude, longitude, altitude, and time. Okay? And how to calculating the distance. So, how to calculate distance? You know, distance is equal to velocity into time. The radio waves travel at the speed of light, roughly 1,86,000 miles per second. Okay? Then, the GPS receiver calculates the distance from each satellite to the receivers by using the distance formula. That is, distance is equal to velocity into time. The receiver already knows the velocity, which is the speed of radio waves, or 1,86,000 miles per second. That is speed of the light. Okay? To determine the time part of the formula, the receiver times how long it takes for a signal from the satellite to arrive at the receiver. Then the GPS receiver multiplies the velocity to the transmitted signal by the time it takes the signal to reach the receiver to determine distance. For example, if it took 0.06 seconds to receive a signal transmitted by a satellite floating directly overhead. Use this formula to find your distance from the satellite. Here, 1,86,000 Mbps, miles per second. Okay, multiplied by 0.06 seconds equal to 11,160 miles. We get the distance 11,160 miles. Okay, in this way we can calculate the distance. How GPS was determining position? GPS receivers told the same rate into time. Distance equal to distance. Equation for the additional satellites to provide highly accurate position information. Then the benefits of the GPS: navigation, low cost, crime and security, easy to use, safety, military usage, building and earthquake. First one is navigation. The most common use of GPS in the navigation system. Combined with map technology, it will become a powerful tool for road vehicles and boats. GPS can pinpoint a device location with accuracy, and by comparing coordinates, the statistics can be used to calculate a device's direction of movement and speed. This information can be used to provide step-by-step direction from point A to point B in real time. GPS satellites carry atomic clocks that provide extremely accurate time. The time information is placed in the code broadcast by the satellite so that a receiver can continuously determine the time the signal was broadcast. Right? Next is low cost. The satellite behind GPS are paid for, maintained and updated by the US Department of Defense. That means that the system is essentially free, although you may have to pay for a device and software to utilize it. And the smartphone apps such as Google Maps that use GPS are also typically free. We use GPS in crime and security. GPS can be used as a valuable tool by law enforcement to track criminals or terrorists using devices they attach to vehicles or through track the perpetrators' smartphones. GPS tracking devices can also be used to deter theft by employers or ordinary people. That means it used in security, particularly for the tracking of stolen objects. Okay, right? Then it's easy to use. Navigation using GPS is generally very easy and requires minimal skill or effort. Certainly when compared to traditional methods and technologies such as map reading. In most cases, the user just has to input the destination and the device will do the rest. GPS is also an easier and more efficient technology to use for tasks like survey and the study of the movement of the tectonic plates. Okay? Then, the fifth one is safety. GPS tracking can be used by parents to keep tabs on their children and make sure that they are safe. Spouses can also use similar technology to keep track of their partners, as well as GPS tracking being useful for keeping staff members and others safe in certain jobs. It can also be used to monitor the whereabouts of key workers in case you are urgently required to deal with an emergency. Okay, the sixth one is military uses. As well as being useful for navigation and other general uses, the military employs GPS when setting target for guided missiles. GPS improves accuracy through giving the missile a specific set of coordinates and reduces collateral damage for lowering the chances of missile going astray. Okay? and the building and earthquake. There are many scientific applications of GPS beyond just navigational matters. It can be used to help detect structural problems in roads and buildings, as well as predict natural disasters like earthquakes through the monitoring of tectonic plate movements. Okay. Then next is application of GPS. Vehicle tracking. Locate your vehicle anytime, anywhere. GPS vehicle tracking system is the most effective way to locate a vehicle. A vehicle tracking system is a system that allows tracking and controlling of vehicles via an online computer, smartphone, tablet, etc. on 24 hours basis thanks to GPS satellites. Vehicle tracking system make it possible to have an instantaneous and historic tracking of vehicle speed, the routes they followed, stopping points, idling time on maps, providing a registry and checkpoint with past and present reports. For example, you want to go to a trip in Goa by car. Okay, before starting your trip, you just need to know your destination in the GPS receiver screen. The car GPS navigation system makes you find your easy way and quickly while driving on an unfamiliar road or being struck by heavy traffic. In this situation, the most convenient and fastest way to get your destination is to use a GPS system. Through the satellite, car GPS navigation system are able to show your other possible routes to your destination, and also the car GPS navigation system gives you additional information, that is shortest or fastest road to your destination, the amount of fuel needed, expected travel time, etc. With this GPS navigation system, you will always enjoy your trip, right? And how it works? First one, if the device is installed in the vehicle, the device is located by satellite by GPS. GPS value is sent to server via GPRS. Next, the server stores the data for 365 days and log onto the website to monitor. That means locate the ODD, that means onboard diagnostic, is a computer system inside of a vehicle that tracks and regulates a car performance. Okay, then under the vehicle steering wheels, dashboards or around the gearbox, insert the OBD device into 16-pin port. Okay, install this device app or software on your mobile device, turn on the vehicle engine to synchronize the GPS device with the app. And then we can use road transportation. Majority of users of this technology are taxi services, emergency vehicle location, commercial fleet management and pace tracking, public transport monitoring, dispatch and navigation. And private car owners also use the app. The most of the new car models come with factory fitted GPS. Okay, right? Then public safety and disaster relief. The best thing about GPS is that it can be used in any weather or environmental condition, which is the reason why it is preferred for use during disaster management. The emergency vehicle and supplies are tracked using GPS. Then nearby areas such as hotels, hospitals, oil stations and government offices. In this system, it tracks your location and provides you with information and data of the area you are scanning. Okay, right? You can search and book a hotel near your area, and the best thing about using this app is that it is accurate and provides real-time data. and aviation. Most of the modern aircraft use GPS receivers to provide the pilots and passengers with real-time aircraft position. They also provide a map of various destinations depending on where the aircraft operates. This application is also used by the airline operators to decline which route is the fastest, safe, and most fuel efficient among the destinations. They also use the app to track the aircraft and direct the pilot in the case where there is a change in the weather condition or any other issue that may arise. Okay, then how can you track the GPS location on a cell phone? Okay, track your phone location using Google Maps. First, you go to android.com or sign in your Gmail account and password. Then on the map, you will see your phone's approximate location. If the device cannot be found, it will show you the last known location. Okay. Then disadvantages of worldwide positioning system. It requires line of sight access to satellites. That means sometimes GPS signals are in thanks to some obstacles to signal like buildings, trees, and sometimes by extreme atmospheric conditions like geometric storms. Okay. The next one is system may not have up-to-date map. That means if driver gives incorrect instructions. And last is battery life. GPS chip hungry for power which drains battery in 8 to 12 hours. This needs replacement or recharge of battery quite frequently. Okay. Thank you.
Students, do you have any doubts? Sure. Anyone having doubt, any questions? Should we proceed further? So now I request Mrs. Simran ma'am for vote of thanks.
A very good morning to all of you.
Good morning, ma'am.
It has such an immense pleasure to be a part of this session. I, on behalf of ITCS Department, BNN College Bhiwandi, heartily thankful to our resource person, Mrs. Aparna Nair ma'am. Ma'am, it is a very informative session. I am immensely thankful to our respected coordinator, Mr. Pramod Shivale sir, for being the catalyst that stimulated us to do our best and standing as a pillar of strength. I also extend my vote of thanks to all the staff members for their cooperation and special thanks to Raju sir for technical support. No event will be successful without any students and participants. So the big thanks to all the students for being disciplined throughout the session. Once again, thank you all of you. Over to you, ma'am.
So all the students can leave the session.
Thank you, ma'am.